What's up, guys? Welcome to this week's patch notes overview. There's quite a bit in this patch, so we're just going to jump right into it. So they changed a few things to the new tutorial system, basically just for new players. I don't think I see anything about put Frenzy's YouTube channel in here, so we're just going to skip over it. No, I mean, it's a good change, but it'll probably help new players stick around a little bit longer. That's pretty much it. I mean, there's not much to say about it. Okay, so we get into the cool stuff right in here then. New features, Treasure Room Roulette. Players who manage to get 3 stars during a regular PvP castle will now be rewarded with an additional prize in the Treasure Room. The potential prizes include gears, dyes, materials, boosts, creatures, traps, rooms, barricades, and even castle themes and heroes. I think this is an amazing change, probably the best one that we'll see in this entire patch. This is pretty huge, because before there was never really a reason to get 3 stars. There was never a reason to really go for it. Sure, you get a few more crowns, but you don't really get more loot, I don't think, anymore. It used to be that case, but even if it was less loot, it wasn't like enough. It was like 10% of what you would normally get or something like that. 10% less, so it wasn't really a big deal. This is pretty cool. I've been leveling my mage slightly here, and I've been getting 3 stars on castles that are around his level because lower level players in like the 20 range and above, 20 to like 24, I think, have some struggle keeping people from getting 3 stars just because their timers aren't very good and stuff like that. This is a cool change though. I haven't gotten anything really that good. I've gotten like a yellow, or actually I got a legendary material. I think I got a room that was useless. I got a few barricades. I mean, they're kind of cool. They're bling barricades, so it's pretty nice. You can get like the bookcases and stuff, which are higher hit points and stuff like that. I got a few dyes, which are completely useless. I think I even got like a legendary gear drop or something like that. I haven't seen castle themes or heroes. Obviously I have all heroes, so I probably won't see. I probably won't see any heroes drop, and I have quite a few of the themes. I don't know if it's based on how many are missing or if it just kind of pops up, but it's a really cool change. I like this change a lot. Some restrictions to apply to this additional reward. Castles must not be shielded. Castles must have crowns, and they have to be the same level as the hero that appear in the attack selection screen. So basically, when you go to attack things that are your level. I don't know if it works if the castle is above your level. I haven't tried that yet. It won't work if it's a farm castle. It won't work if it's shielded. It won't work if it's 0 crowns. And it's not effective during castle validations. But pretty much almost every situation where you're attacking a castle your level, it applies to, which is pretty cool. Alright, so Blacksmith changes. Crafting gear at the Blacksmith has been slightly improved. Crafting will produce items matching the category of input items, only if they are all the same types. Basically, if you put in three shoulder legendary pieces and you craft it into an epic, it's going to be an epic shoulder piece. I guess this is cool if you have like a lot of people craft for the named items, right? They want Bogart stuff, they want Earl of Evilocity stuff, pain cutter, pain hammer. I don't know, whatever the Knights is called. I don't even know what the Runaways is called, but yeah, that's basically if you have one piece that you're going for, you can constantly do that. The problem is you're going to run out of that type of item after a while. So I don't know about that, but it's a good change for people who have to get a specific item. Not really going to apply to me all that much because I only have 2 of my named items that are at max level right now, which would be the cape and a ring. So I'm still looking for pretty much everything, especially a ballista bow. I really need a good ballista bow. Even if I lose like 100 DPS, it's really important that I get one. Even 150 to 200, I'd probably switch it out, but right now I haven't found any really good ballistas. Alright, so let's see what else we have here. In-game friend referral system is slightly improved. That's not really that big of a deal. Some polish has been done to Dur's theme. Castle Banner's font readability has been slightly improved. Some polish on weapon visuals, fog. Particles have been added to the home screen for ultra and high video configurations. There's now only 4 machinery pedestals in the treasure room. I was kind of hoping that they were going to leave those in because it makes you think that they're going to add more type of machinery, which I think the game could use a few extra mechanics and stuff like that. But that doesn't seem to be the case. So they removed those, so we're pretty much going to only be sticking with those for the time being at least. They could re-add them if they needed to. The gold floor and the double O theme boss room has been polished. Also, to talk a little bit about this treasure room roulette, there have been a couple times when I've hit these restrictions and I still haven't gotten the additional reward. I think there's a little bit of bugs, a few bugs inside of it. Um, like sometimes I personally won't get any crowns because they only have like 100, but I still 3-star the castle. Sometimes um, I get an extra item, and then other times I don't, so it's kind of weird that way. There's not really a ton of important things here, but this is actually pretty big. Minimap, the aggro creatures are now displayed on the minimap. A lot of people probably haven't trained themselves to be looking at the minimap unless they're kind of going through rooms, but it is helpful if you do glance up at the minimap once in a while to see if there are creatures aggroed coming towards you. It also shows a little bit of like kind of bugs in the way that like if you go quickly away from creatures and you get to a certain distance, how they always follow you through traps no matter what. They almost kind of like teleport there, like they're really quick. They get some weird speed boost. I don't really know what's going on there, but it's not a huge deal gameplay wise. It just kind of looks weird on the minimap. These like slow moving like red dots just kind of go crazy as soon as you get far enough away, and they just kind of like teleport through traps. It's kind of weird. Alright, so the time's up on General Pow. Wave goodbye and make way for the new rare trap, the Caustic Carpet. The Caustic Carpet will deal heavy, long-lasting corrosive damages to your opponents if they come in contact with the snot. I'll show that off. I have one in my castle already. I'm working on getting my second one, and I don't know how I'm going to get a third or a fourth. I'd like at least 4 because they're spike traps, right? So you want a couple of them so you can line them up. I don't know if I'm going to be able to farm up that many cogs, though. They take 30 cursed cogs, which is the area where I'm going to struggle in. I have enough love, and I have enough of whatever the other one is. But cursed cogs are going to be tough. Alright, balancing. This is a good change. Destroying gold or life force mines and bling mines now grant 3 seconds instead of 5. Pretty important. Creatures and traps in the Cornelius Emporium are now purchasable with gold rather than life force. I think this is kind of dumb. Although it's a small amount, life force is actually the useless resource right now. Gold has an end game at this point because you can constantly be reforging and crafting items. And unless you're maxed out on all 4 characters, which I don't think anyone is, you might as well be doing this, right? If you have gold. So I don't really like it being life. I like as much life force as we can spend on other things is good, but it's not that much. It's probably like, I don't know, 50,000 at best, just by for everything that you're going to buy inside of there. Probably less, to be honest. Alright, runaway buffs. I don't actually know like what this will do because I don't even know what the character does because you hardly ever see her. And I haven't played mine at all up to like level 10, but that was mostly just running through mine farms and stuff to get those 10 levels. So Mosh Pit, pretty much Mosh Pit, Teen Spirit, and Rebel Yell all got buffs. I don't know if this is going to make her playable because I don't know what these abilities do, so reading this out isn't really going to let me comment on it at all. Archer skills, on the other hand, are interesting. Okay, so let's talk Archer. So I'll talk about these skills first, and then I just will talk about in general balance of the heroes in the game, at least how I see them. Volley, I think this is a fine change. I agree with this change. Currently, archers with high enough DPS can one-shot volley elites. I don't think that should be the case. Although mages can do the same, it does require them to use 2 abilities instead of 1 in order to do that. Roll 2 seconds to 4 seconds is the biggest change ever for archers. I don't like this change. I can be okay with Spiral Shot because you can replace Spiral Shot, and I have replaced Spiral Shot with bear traps. That's just something that I've done already. I won't be using this ability anymore with it being at 4 seconds. I just don't think it's as worth it as it needs to be. It's better against like a lot of units, but single target and like keeping things locked down, bear traps does a better job. So it's probably the better thing to do, even because roll got a 4-second cooldown now. Roll, though, I don't know why you would put it as the same cooldown as the mage's ability, where the mage's ability gets like at least like 1.5 the distance, probably 2x the distance, closer to it. than roll, and then also ignores all trap damage when they're using it. Pretty much all damage from every source. Roll can still take trap damage if you don't get your block chance off. I would have much rather seen the block chance of roll get attacked than this cooldown effect. Because even 3 seconds is going to mess up a lot of players that have been playing the mage for a while, or playing the archer for a while. And mobility is what the archer does, right? That's his thing. He's like decent at single target damage, but also mobility. His volley is good, but it's a pretty long cooldown. I would say mages definitely have a leg up in AoE to the archer. The archer kind of is like a jack of all trades plus mobility, and he's not quite as good at like specific things like that. I guess he probably has the highest single target damage in the game, unless you're building a knight specifically for single target damage with like smite and things like that. So talking balance before this update, like just talking about pre these changes right here. The Runaway was obviously the weakest character. I think everybody can agree on that. A lot of people that I talk to, a lot of the veterans that I talk to, you know, on like a weekly basis or whatever, probably everyone was saying that the mage was a tier above everything else. That the mage was actually above archer. A lot of people on the forums have been disagreeing, or not even. I mean, obviously these came from people complaining about the archer on the forums and stuff like that. But for the most part, I think people with max gear, the mage was like a tier above. Right below was probably the archer, and then the knight was in a weird spot by himself, where the knight is really terrible if you have like blacksmith gear. Like, he's extremely gear dependent. But if you have gear like the Crimson Link, it's almost impossible to kill a knight with good gear, because they just don't take much damage from anything, and they have a ton of hit points. Like, they just go through castles and only use 1 potion, where every other character would use 4. Like, it's impossible to just deal damage to them overall. So Knight was in a weird spot where he could use a few like stat buffs, just like base stats, buffed across the board probably, and maybe hit on some of his higher end gear like the named gear that he has. I think that would be a good like rebalancing for the mage. Archer was, I think, in a fine spot, but I play Archer, so maybe I'm biased. But personally, like, I think that that rebalancing some skills would be okay for the archer, like taking some skills that nobody uses, bringing them up a little bit, taking some of the skills like volley, maybe headshot and rolls block chance, and just like taking them down a few notches as well would be fine. But that's my my thoughts on it. Mage, I think he's a little bit too strong in his maybe an EMP, probably a little too strong, or every other trap ability probably needs to be brought up to EMP, one or the other. And I think Vortex. The thing about Vortex that is annoying for me is like you can use volley on a group of mobs that has like, let's say Goatmen plus Defendatrons. I have one in my castle right now. And you volley on top of that. The Defendatron will go off, and the Defendatron might die, but the Goatmen will stay alive, right? So they get their damage. They at least get to throw a boomerang out before they die, pretty much. Whereas mages can Vortex plus use like a fireball, or I don't know what the other ability is, like conflagration, or there's an electric one as well. They use 2 abilities hand in hand, Vortex plus another, and when you Vortex all the units, there's a stun effect on them, so the Defendatron doesn't actually get his AoE off unless he sees you first. He has to see you before you get your ability off. If he doesn't, then he won't get his AoE off and everything will die. And even if the Defendatron lives, it won't matter, because everything else will be dead. So that's what I don't like about the mages personally. Like, I find it hard to build things against the mage and the archer together, because they work differently. And those 2 abilities that the mage can use will outdamage volley probably by a little bit as well. But it is 2 ability slots instead of 1, so I don't know. Personally, I hope this changes. I hope that they hit block chance instead. I should have probably been a little bit more vocal on the forums, and hopefully someone would have seen it, and maybe at least thought about it before they put this in, because I think that, like, I can agree with this. I guess I can agree with this, even though it takes away from his mobility, and that's kind of what he goes for, right? Thinking about all of the characters, you have the knight that is the tank, right? He just tanks things, and maybe he kills them a little bit too slowly, although with King Dragon Slash and good gear, that's not really the case, but he tanks things, he takes things on a little bit more slowly, maybe decent single target damage, but not really good at AoE. unless like everything's attacking him at once and he can cleave things and stuff like that. And then you have the mage, where he's really good at area of effect, right? He deals a lot of damage. That's why I'm more okay with volley plus another AoE ability taking out a lot of things at once, especially if it has a high cooldown. I think that's fine. Maybe his mana regen is a little bit on the high side, but that's really the only thing, because jelly walls are hard to make use of against mages as well. But that's kind of what mage's thing is, right? And then you have archers, which is like mobility plus mobility plus area of effect. Like, I think area of effect and single target could be slightly less than each of the other two classes, right? Area of effect is slightly weaker than mage's area of effect, and single target damage, which I think is a little bit too high right now on the archer. If he has like headshot plus, although that's two abilities, headshot plus like bear traps, is really strong against single target, but I don't know. Anyway, I think mobility is like the archer's thing, right? Dodging projectiles and stuff like that with your abilities to not take damage, because the archer is pretty weak. Like, he's pretty squishy, even though the mage is as well. So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting change. Personally, I'm starting to level up my mage. It's going to take me a few weeks to be able to actually get him up to level 30, but and probably get a little bit of gear on him as well, especially without having mine farms, derp farms, all that to be able to farm with as well. I'll probably have to do a lot of reforging and crafting and stuff like that. Probably try to 3-star some castles as I'm going up, see if I can find anything. If anyone 3-stars a castle, gets that roulette thing, and finds a named drop, I'm talking about like epic name drops, I'd love to know if that's even in the loot table. It probably is, because it's probably just based on like the gear loot table when it's trying to like pick a piece of gear for you. I'm not going to talk about bug fixes. I don't think there's any game-breaking gameplay bugs in the game right now, except for maybe the spider disappearing, and I don't think that's in here. So they don't even have that as their known issues, although it's new known issues. So I don't know. Let's go over the Caustic carpet, which is right here. It's based off of, well, lag. I don't know if this is going to go away. Hold on. I might have to restart my client if this doesn't go away. Let's see if I just get into the attack selection. Hold on, I'll just change screens really quick. Maybe it'll dump some of the memory or something. Yeah, that looks better. Okay. So it's a spike trap. It's based off the new spike trap, which means one of the panels is always active. I'm not sure if that's the case. I think it's this one on this trap will never go inactive. The problem is it's very hard to predict this, because if you change your like rotation on your screen like that, it's gonna look like a different panel every time, so you don't know which orientation you're in. It's easy to get like confused when you're in the attack selection screen. You can't actually rotate this trap, I don't think. No. If you could, it would make it even more OP. But let's just jump into the castle. I'm gonna jump in with my level 30 archer just because that's the resistance that I have. And until I level up my mage, that's probably what I'll still have to use. I have my bear trap ability ready, but that cooldown, basically you can kind of see it where the buff that it used to give you on the run chance would pretty much go away as soon as the cooldown came back up. So you'd always have that run buff, the movement speed buff, available to you when you were rolling around. And now it wears off and you still have to wait another 2 seconds, which is crazy. Same as block chance, although I think they should have just hit the 300% block chance. You could even hit the like attack speed on it and stuff like that if you want to hit roll, but I don't think the cooldown is the right way to go. But either way, I'm gonna be done talking about that for now. Let's talk about this trap. Alright, so let's get hit by it. Hits 500, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so 9 ticks of roughly 50 damage plus about a 500 hit. On hit. It's a little bit higher on each end, so you can round it to about 1,000 damage overall. If we look at the actual damage done, it's a little over 1,000, right? Yeah. It's, 1,050 or something like that for my archer. Resistances are going to affect this quite a bit because the 9 ticks after it, resistance will tick on each one of those, so it's like you get resistance on every single one, so it's going to be a lot less effective against knights, probably a lot less effective against mages as well, because they tend to have high magic resistances. And mages and archers with better gear will probably take like 800 or something from it. Because these ticks could probably be as low as, you know, 30, 25 against like knights and stuff like that. So, but about 3 hits of this and you'll die from it. I think on the 3rd hit I should end up dead right here, or really close to it. Yeah, so there it is. So I ended up dying with 3 ticks of this, which is really, really strong for a 3-point trap. So it's a pretty good trap, but it's very expensive. With 30 cursed cogs is really high. I think I have 29 right now, and I have the one that I already built. I have no idea how I'm gonna get any more. Yeah, I have 29, so I need 1 more for this. I have plenty of love at 13. I don't remember what the other thing that it costs is, but I have like a lot of the rest. A lot of the legendaries. I guess I could have just went into traps and seen how much. So it's noob tiers, which is I have 98 of them. So I mean, I have plenty of those. I found those a lot when I was farming for materials. They were pretty common drops. So yeah, he's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to get this thing, but if you can get 3, 4, 5 of them, it'll be really good to make a spike trap room out of these specifically. They're not a huge investment. I'm not sure if it'll all line up correctly because spike traps are only 2, so when you're using that extra a few points, it might not line up right with like cross hull 6 and stuff like that, and trap generators and all that, but hopefully it will. Yeah, I mean it's a good trap. You'll probably want to combine this with like Hungerbot, Scorpios, charging Cyclopses, maybe Battering Rams, but probably not. Something that'll push them back on top of it. Try to get that damage dealt as much as possible. Creatures that get hit by this are going to just get melted as well. But this video has been going for quite a while because I was talking about archer balance and all that. But I think we'll end it here. Any comments that people have about the patch, throw them on the comments below so everybody can read them, have a discussion, all that sort of thing. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.